right, guys, welcome back to the table. On the table, you see the Gen 4 Glock 19 that I have here in Battlefield Green, one of my favorite color schemes of any Glock that I've ever owned. And on this Glock, I actually have some I.Pros from Ameriglow. So some of you have seen this video that I've done on it before. They're really good sights, very good quality. You know, maybe not necessarily the brightest sight, but they're very good, and they've served their purpose very well on multiple Glocks. Now, what we are going to be looking at are these, and these are the DXT2 night sights. Now, I've actually owned these sights before in previous models that I've owned. However, I never really did a video, and I think this video is going to be pretty solid in regards to the fact that this, the I.Pro, is what I think a very good setup in comparison to the DXT2 sights. Let's see if we can get that to zoom. There we go. Because of the way it's set up. So just like the I.Pro, it's very similar in the fact that you're going to basically line it up almost like an I.Dot. So we're going to do a little comparison. I'm going to take these off, show you what they look like on the table without being on the gun, and then put these on the gun so that you can see the before and after. And then at the end, you guys can leave comments as to what you think about the, excuse me, the DXT2 sights, and we'll go from there. So stay tuned, and I'll pull these off, show you the difference, and compare and contrast them, and then we'll go from there. All right, so what I wanted to do after I took the I.Pros, which you see here on the right, off the Glock, was I wanted to give you a kind of a, I guess, a better viewpoint or vantage point in regards to the differences in color. So I'm actually shooting this on my cell phone. I left my damn GoPro upstairs, and I didn't actually want to, I was actually too lazy to go get it, not going to lie. But anyway, so I looked at both of these, and you know, you can see here the XS sight. This is the DXT2 versus the Ameriglow I.Pros. And they're kind of very similar in color, and it doesn't necessarily show up very well here because there's a coating on the I.Pro. It's almost like a clear coat and almost like a covering on it. So it kind of has a little bit more of a glossy look, almost like a reflection of the lighting. So I'm going to try to do this so I get a little bit closer, and you guys can see that there. Hopefully both are fairly good in frame. I didn't adjust anything in regards to colors or anything, just so you can see. And I would say they're very close. I would say the coloring of the Ameriglow is very close to the coloring of the DXT2. But I also have to say that even though the setups are fairly similar, you know, the I.Pro has a circle and circle, and then the DXT2 has the slash mark or the vertical slash and the big ginormous golf ball. I have to say that for me, I think the advantage on a carry pistol would have to be this one here, which is the DXT2, for the simple fact that as soon as this comes up to your eye level, and obviously it's not going to look like this, the big golf ball is going to sit right on top of that vertical slash. And because it's so large, and really you guys can see the difference in size, because it is so large, it does, in my opinion, give you that advantage, because as soon as you bring it up, it's going to be right at your eye level, and it shows fairly well. Now, some people might complain, but it's going to cover a lot of the target. But, you know, when we're talking self-defense, or we're talking, you know, 250 yards away, probably not. Now, again, every scenario is going to be different, so don't quote me on any of that stuff. But at the same time, I definitely think the DXT2 has the advantage just because of the size of the globe in the front versus the size of the ones on the I.Dot. And don't get me wrong, guys, I really like the I.Pros, but you know, if I'm getting a carry gun, it's hard for me to do this because I'm looking in the actual viewfinder of my phone, which is the screen, and I'm trying to do this so that you know, you guys can see it. But let me just move my phone a little bit there. But again, as you guys can see, it is a fairly sizable difference between both of these. You know, you've got the DXT2, which is just enormous, and it should be very easy to pick up. I don't think anybody can miss that. And as I pick up my phone up here, you guys can also see that the colors are fairly similar. I think you got that glossy look on the DXT2, which gives you a little bit more of a protective coating or covering on the tritium vial inside. The bonus part is that, yes, this glows at night, and this does as well, but my goodness, just a little bit of light exposure to this thing, this thing is like on fire. It's like a laser beam coming at you, which is kind of cool, and we'll show that to you in a minute. All right, guys, so we're about to see the finished product, and as we see the finished product, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flash up some pictures of what these sights look like at night or in the dark, and it's going to be a little difficult because as soon as this thing is exposed to any sort of light, this thing glows, man, like a friggin' beacon for lost ships in the ocean, so to speak. And it's kind of hard to let that go out because it lasts quite a while. So you can see the rear side, that vertical notch in the back or slash or whatever you want to call it. It actually sits very well. Obviously, I have to kind of see if these are going to be straight or not. They look fairly straight. In the camera, they may not, but they look fairly straight when I bring it up to eye level. So worst case scenario is I have to drift the rear, I will. The front centered up fairly well. And again, one of the things I would highly recommend if you're going to do this, get one of these bad boys, 3/16. It just makes the job so much easier. It definitely does. You get a little bit more torque on it. It's easier to install and easier to remove. But that's just something I'd recommend for everybody who's got a Glock. Here are the old Ameriglow I-Dot Pros. Again, you can see how small that is. So it is fairly small, guys. And then, of course, you see the finished product here, which are the DXT2s. There's the rear, and there is the front right there. So really nice looking. I mean, look at that thing, man. It is huge. It is probably ridiculous compared to the other sights that have been on these guns before. So I'm a huge fan. I do like the DXT2s for a lot of different reasons. First off, super easy, bringing it up to eye level. You see the big globe right here. And more importantly, gun's empty, by the way. More importantly, one of the things you have to realize is that this thing just completely overwhelms this. And I think that's important, especially when you're going to be in a self-defense situation. As soon as you bring that gun up to eye level, I mean, this thing, to me, it just takes over from the rear. I'm going to try to zoom. This camera doesn't necessarily have the best zoom, but, you know, like I said, it's fairly easy to see why a lot of people favor these types of sights. I'm a big fan, have been a big fan. Years ago, I made a video on these, the XS Big Dots. And in that video, I even said it would be nice one day if they actually went with a high-vis front, because to me, that would make a huge improvement. And they did. So congratulations, XS. You did a wonderful job with these sights. Nice high profile in the front. You still have enough of a ledge in the rear to actually be able to do those one-hand manipulations if you choose to be super cool like that. But nonetheless, they went on very well. I did not apply any red Loctite to the rear, even though it calls for that. This was actually fairly... there was enough friction for this to go about halfway in, and then I just lightly tapped it into place. I don't know if I'm going to put any Loctite. I put the 2 screws in. Obviously, I cinched them down. So let me know down in the comments below if you think I should put either blue or red Loctite around it like XS recommends. I did use blue Loctite for the front, so we're going to see how those handle that. And if worst case scenario, I will use the supplied red Loctite. But I didn't want to use the red right away, just in case I had to adjust anything or change anything. But like I said, guys, if you're looking for a new set of night sights, I don't think they can be wrong. I'm going to flash up some pictures really quick right about now, and you can see just how amazingly these glow. And I will do my best to make that comparison. So on the left, you're going to see the DXT2s. On the right, you're going to see the I-Dot Pros. And then hopefully that'll give you enough vantage point to make a good decision to choose which sights work best for you. So leave those comments down below. Hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you guys have a great night. Stay safe, and as everyone always, everybody, freedom is never free.